what are processed foods? There are many textbook definitions, none of which I find particularly helpful. And so instead, I define processed foods as any food item that cannot be easily reproduced in your kitchen or on your grandparents' farm. Processed foods generally require industrial-level chemical and manufacturing techniques that cannot be easily reproduced at home. And so importantly, this is a general rule of thumb that is not a binding or comprehensive definition in the sense that there are countless exceptions, largely due to the complexity of our food system and human biology. Simply stated, if you are looking for a hard and fast, one-size-fits-all approach, you're not going to find it, and that is not what I promote here, but rather a general guiding principle to assist in day-to-day decisions. And so importantly, cooking food is not equivalent to industrial food processing and manufacturing, with some practical examples being, imagine you were able to cultivate some asparagus and go down to the river and catch some fish and apply it over a heat source. Cooking, baking, grilling is not the same as commercialized food processing. Beyond that, chopping or preparing naturally occurring food types into something prepared like a salad, food preparation of naturally occurring foods is not the same as industrial food processing. Beyond that, imagine growing some basil leaves, pine nuts, and then going over to the olive tree, picking the olive, squeezing the olive to generate some olive oil, grinding these all together to create basil pesto. Again, this is food preparation of naturally occurring foods, something that you could make homemade or go purchase on the store shelf. Alternative examples include homemade peanut butter. You can grind peanuts to create your own peanut butter, or go to the store shelf to buy peanut butter, or in fact, many different types of peanut butter. So all of these represent the same food type. However, in looking at the ingredients of the homemade version, we see ingredients being dry roasted peanuts. In one iteration of the store-bought peanut butter being, again, ingredients of dry roasted peanuts. And then finally, a third example, again, store-bought peanut butter containing dry roasted peanuts, hydrogenated oil, and highly refined sugar, the latter two of which you cannot produce or generate in your own kitchen. These are examples of highly processed foods with processed food ingredients that are not advisable to be consumed. And so beyond that, the evidence supports the consumption of minimally processed animal products can be a part of a healthy dietary pattern. It is a complex subject for which there's additional material on the website diving into this in much further detail. Meanwhile, we do recognize the difference of grass-fed and corn-fed beef, one example of highly processed food inputs enabling an artificial environment for which there are measurable differences in the nutrient profiles and quality of nutrients consumed from grass-fed and corn-fed beef. And so the fundamental message that I have today is that highly processed foods are disproportionately contributing to obesity and poor metabolic health throughout the United States. And so a simplified list that I promote here is to minimize or eliminate added and refined sugars, with the most common examples just being sugar and sweets, desserts, followed by the consumption of extraordinary quantities of sugar in liquid form, whether it be Coca-Cola, various coffee drinks, and even a lot of juices. Juices themselves may be natural, plant-based, no saturated fat, no cholesterol, contains vitamins. However, in looking at a nutrition label saying 23 grams of added sugar, for example, would not be advisable. Beyond that, we minimize or eliminate white, flour, and highly refined carbohydrates. A plate of pancakes here, the cereals that many of our children eat, potato chips, Cheez-Its, and other snack-based foods. Beyond that, deep-fried foods and hydrogenated oils, including French fries and chicken tenders. Cured, highly processed and corn-fed meats, hot dogs, and other highly processed meat products being a great example of foods that we should minimize. And then finally, alcohol and tobacco, both of which are known carcinogens. And so it's not a matter of stating that anything that is natural is healthy and anything that is unnatural is unhealthy, but rather providing a biological hypothesis that can be tested. And so this biological explanation is that over the course of thousands of years, mankind evolved to digest, metabolize, and thrive on various naturally occurring food types, whether that be meat, fish, eggs, fruits and vegetables, nuts, legumes, beans, and naturally occurring fats like olive oil, for example. And this occurred over thousands of years. However, within the past century or so, with the incorporation of new technologies, trade routes, storage techniques, we have seen a massive transition in dietary trends with the increased consumption of highly processed foods that have resulted in biological and metabolic consequences that we can measure. And so a fundamental message that I am here again to promote is the importance of moving beyond calories in versus calories out, with recognition that 100 calories of sugar does not affect the body the same as 100 calories of olive oil, that there are different metabolic and health outcomes. Beyond that, I will advocate again that your health is the single most important investment of your life and you should care about it. Thank you for listening.